Hello everyone, this is RaySpace and welcome back to Realism Overhaul Sandbox in Kerbal Space Program 1.12. In the comments to a recent video, Plaintext 384 suggested an engine replacement for the RL-10s. In particular, they are from Sierra Space, an engine in development called the VR35K-A. Hopefully I got that right. And I'll link a PDF from Sierra Space in the video description with all the juicy details about them, but the upshot is that they have a little bit better efficiency. The specific impulse is at 465, and they have 155.7 kilonewtons of thrust, so about 50% more than the RL-10s, actually 44% more if you do it exactly. So they are heavier and they are physically bigger. There is no image of the actual model of them, so I've just slapped the configuration onto the RL-10 model for now until we get a good image. The only image I saw was of the power head on the test stand, but they have a whole bunch of pipes that are probably just test stand pipes, and it isn't clear exactly which bits are going to be the engine and which bits are not going to be the engine. So I'll set that aside. You'll see that image in the PDF if you look at it. So yeah, we are going to try out 4 of them and see what benefit they have if they are a drop-in replacement on the EUS. First of all, I would like to see our lunar payload. We'll just get to orbit with enough delta V to go to the moon. And I'm aiming for 56 tons compared to the SLS Block 2 previous record of 48 tons. So about 8 tons improvement. Is it worthwhile? Well, it'll especially be worthwhile if these engines are actually cheaper than the RL-10s. So that would certainly be a benefit. But let's see in terms of the actual capabilities. Well, I'll just launch it from this pad instead of 39B. I do hope Sierra Space comes up with a better name than VR35K-A. The 35 is in reference to its thrust, which is in thousands of pounds force. So it's 35,000 pounds force. Of course, we think of that in Kerbal Space Program as 155 kilonewtons. But yeah, I guess that's the 35K part, actually. But yeah, a different name would be a little bit less cumbersome to say, but that's later. Engage. I'll keep the numbers as they are, and go. So again, this is otherwise SLS Block 2 with the Bola boosters, which will hopefully keep their nozzle. And we're aiming to get to orbit with 3,150 meters per second left in the EUS. At least. Well, we are now past the speed of sound, and burn 3 is indicating that we have about 3,350 left eventually, which is still enough. It's going down as we get more drag though. On the bright side, it's probably not estimating the boosters quite right. Okay, booster set. Alright, fairing jettison, and we're still looking good as far as the delta V is concerned, possibly with 100 meters per second to spare, which would be a good margin. Alright, staging. One bit of a worry was that because the nozzles are bigger, these are scaled to 1.2 times the size of the RL-10, which would be appropriate for their thrust, assuming the same chamber pressure, that when it's separated, these might accidentally knock the interstage. But it was okay. It was okay this time. So, yep, nothing has changed. They're just mounted in the same locations. And of course, the same model of the RL-10, except larger, to accommodate their greater thrust. Now this could still take a bit. Let me fizz warp here. But it's looking like we'll get to orbit with plenty of margin. Might even be able to bump this up. Okay. And we're in orbit with 3,291, perhaps a little bit more than I was expecting. So let's go back to the VAB and see if I sacrifice a little bit of that margin, how much more payload could we get? So I mean, like 50 meters per second we can easily sacrifice. Well, that doesn't give us much extra. We can get to 57 instead of 56 tons. So, yeah, alright, 57 tons I'll be comfortable with instead of the 48 tons. So that's a 9-ton improvement. But with these engines, how will it do with the LEO payload? Will it get any benefit there? So here we got 9 tons benefit, and that's partly because of the bare ISP and partly because of the thrust. So next up is the low Earth orbit payload test, and previously I got 130 tons to orbit with SLS Block 2. In this case, we're currently aiming for 135 tons. Now, we got 9 extra tons of payload with the lunar test, so why wouldn't we be able to get 9 extra tons here? Well, I can't figure out how to get this tank filled properly for that, basically. Maybe we could put in more fuel. Right now we're at half full. We've got half full just like we did with the RL-10s. But I don't see any particular benefit giving it more fuel right now. So it's a bit of a pickle. I mean, it'll read more delta V here, but I'm not convinced that our thrust weight ratio is so good that we want more than a 7.5 minute burn time. So yeah, we'll try 135 tons and see how it goes. I've done a few tests already. I just can't figure out how to get any better than what I've got right now. Alright, here we go. I'll make no other changes. Ignition. And off it goes. Okay, and separate. Well, we're still looking good now at booster separation. We've got 100 meters per second. Well, okay, now it says 20. Somewhere between 20 and 100 meters per second left. Potentially. Off go to fairings. Better margin now. Now, these engines aren't only going to be used in this particular role as far as I'm concerned. They do have throttling capabilities down to 70%. 70% is not great, but it's serviceable if you manage to make, say, a lander somewhere just right. It'll work out. So I could use it as a lander engine. I don't know exactly what Sierra Space is intending to do with the engine, but they're making it, which is a whole lot better than a lot of engines that might feature in RO but aren't actually going to get made or aren't in the process of getting made. So, has that leg up. 465 is also right at the top of the ISP range. So, can't get too much better than that. Staging. EUS is free and going. It looks like we'll have about 96 meters per second at the end. Pretty standard margin. Alright, making orbit. And tentatively 135 tons will do. We've got 100 meters per second of margin. And, well, 135 isn't a huge benefit, is it? Of course, we would get more, I think, if we had just a more powerful stage, so probably slap a couple more and then have more fuel up here. Yeah, more power, more fuel, and then we could probably manage it. But anyway, I mean, we don't have to change the stage, we just have to be able to fill it properly. And if we could put 8 engines and fill it up to 100%, that would be much better. Maybe we could squeeze a little bit more payload capacity if we fill it up a little bit more, but my testing showed that there wasn't too much benefit over this 50%. So yeah, there you have it. That is the net effect of changing out the RL-10s for Sierra Space's VR35K-As, and I'll look forward to putting these engines to other use. The link to the PDF will be in the video description. I hope we eventually get a good image of these things so I don't have to use the RL-10 model. But for now, with that, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.